What is up, fam? Welcome to Lazy Booking live on A2DRadio.com from our own personal Real Talk studios. We are joining you guys on Niche Night, the first of a doubleheader. You get Lazy Booking, followed up by a doubleheader of Maddie Sudi over there, the Real Triple H Hockey Happy Hour. We're brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. You can check him out, find him on the web, no appointment necessary, specializedphysicaltherapy.com, as well as Ambuck Tree Services. You need any kind of gutter guards, gutter cleaning, deck restoration, installation, tree trimming, whatever you guys need, check out Ambuck Services. Let them know that the fam sent you. You get 20% off. It's ambuckservices.com. Gentlemen, our WrestleMania recap today, and our topic of conversation is brought to you by QB54, the best tailgating game in the business. No freaking question about it. Check it out. Great time right now. Weather's starting to break. We're going to be looking for ways to entertain ourselves, and this will keep you entertained. Check it out. Play QB54.com. The Boneyard Match, gentlemen, was better than the Firefly Fun House. Agree, disagree. You have Maddie Sudi, yours truly, Heel Chrome, coming at you. Breaking news, by the way, in the NFL, the Rams are trading Brandon Cooks to the Texans. So, never fails, Ryan.
Thank you, Chrome. I'll get right on that.
He is over here on the ones and twos. And as always, well, as of now, we have Mr. Ritz with us, Stat Guy Ritz, doing more than just stats. He's joining us
What's going
in
on?
this very ring. You can check him out on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And I always forget which day you freaking switch. And, I mean, in fairness, guys, I forget what day it is half the time. I almost forgot we had a show today, and I did the criteria yesterday. Everything is blending in now because we're not going anywhere. But anyway, we got Ritz here with us. He's joining us. Guys, WrestleMania emanating this week. I'm almost at a loss for words because I didn't know if I should, to me, the Boneyard and the Firefly Funhouse are the main things to talk about. I feel like that's what we needed to start the show off with. But I almost wanted to go with the poll question of WrestleMania exceeded my expectations, agree, disagree. And, we'll get to that in a second. But I really want to know in the overall perspective because they did a lot of creative liberties, a lot of that backed with the Boneyard match presentation, with the Firefly Funhouse presentation. I know, Andy, we did a recap on your show on Saturday or Sunday. We did Sunday. That's why I never remember. We did Sunday. We did a recap on your show of day one. And we'll break down. We'll get a little more into that again. We have a new panel here to do that. But let's go through that. I'm actually going to start with Mr. Brodo this time, Ryan. I want you to answer the poll question first. And there's a lot of different ways to look at it, which I find it interesting. The Boneyard Match, did you think that was better than the Firefly Funhouse? Did it entertain you more?
Well, I'll preface it by saying that I enjoyed both matches. I thought they were both the highlights of, I would say, the entire pay-per-view, except for obviously the fact that, I would say both of them respectfully were the highlights of the individual nights because they were both on, one was on night one was on night two. I would agree, though, just because with the Firefly Funhouse, and this is not a hot take, this is just basically, I think everyone would agree with this. The feeling after that match, quote unquote, was what the hell did we just watch? What did we just experience? And that's not a bad thing. I know some people have said that in like a negative realm. I really enjoyed that, whatever that was, whether it was a match, a segment, a mini movie, an episode of friggin' South Park. Like, I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it, really. But it was fun, and it was obviously entertaining, which, like we talked about in numerous different conversations, in our chat. That was the whole point of the entire 2-night event. Sure, it was it was a wrestling main event. It was a wrestling pay-per-view. It was the biggest wrestling event of the entire year. But because this was in such an interesting and strange situation, being 2 nights with no crowd, different, obviously, locations, given, what kind of situation the entire world's under, it was a success because they took risks with certain things. And they took a risk not only with the Firefly Funhouse, but they took a risk, obviously, with the Boneyard Match. And that risk started all the way at the very beginning where we saw the return of the biker. Chrome, Maddie, we talked about this time last year. I would argue this time 2 years ago of, when are we ever going to see the biker again? Is it possible? Well, we finally got that. And if my memory is correct, didn't his entrance music, wasn't it like a Metallica song or something?
No.
It was Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Oh, you're saying before.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were talking. I was going to say, no, you're right, because it was Metallica this time around.
Yeah, then he had a couple of songs that were produced by WWE towards the end of the biker gimmick.
Gotcha. So, to me, I absolutely loved the Boneyard match from the very beginning. And I really liked the added, the trash talking, especially from Undertaker at the very beginning, because obviously Taker did that, obviously when he was the biker, but it's been a while since we've seen that side of him. And also, like, we've obviously heard the rumors that, and the reports that it took, up to 8 hours for them to film and everything. You could tell there was a ton of work that went into it. Nothing was rushed. And nothing, like, obviously people were like, oh, it was cheesy. It's a Boneyard match. What were you expecting? You know what I'm saying? Were you expecting this cinematic glory and it to be emotional? No, it was entertaining with an AJ Styles figure character that we love. And obviously the Undertaker, and it was all nostalgia. I absolutely loved it. So I would absolutely agree with the poll.
I'm confused, though. You watch WWE not for cheesy shit, because that's all WWE does is cheesy shit.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree.
Maddie, time's yours.
Okay, between both of them, I would say the Boneyard match was better, but only because it seemed... I'm a huge Undertaker fan, so I love that one because it really encapsulated the Undertaker kind of like character and motif. Don't get me wrong, though. I did love the Firefly Funhouse, though, because it was kind of cool to go back and see all the different historical points of Cena's career, and the big internet thing of, they played up to that with him being the NWO guy, for that period. I'm like, that's kind of funny, placating to all the smarks who desperately wanted to see Cena turn heel and lead the NWO or some shit like that, which I don't think Vince would ever bring back the NWO, even if he had a gun to his head. But, the point is that it was a lot of fun and it was crazy, but I really liked the Boneyard match. It had that cool fight to it and had that really fun, like, sort of dead man mysticism going on in there as well. So I thought it was a great combination. No offense to Firefly Funhouse. Really, it's a 1A, 1B when you look at it,
I wouldn't even say it's a 1A, it's a 1B, right? They're two totally different pieces of work, right? The Boneyard match, you could very, very clearly tell it was a match. It was and it was a fight. It was a brawl between the Undertaker and AJ Styles when you really break it down to its simplest form. The Firefly Funhouse was almost like a very twisted Twilight Zone. This is your life of John Cena. If Cena would have done things differently in his career. So in my opinion, you can't compare the two whatsoever. Now, am I going to say the Boneyard match was better than the Firefly Funhouse? Of course I am, because I'm an Undertaker guy, right? But they're two totally different entities. I don't think you can fairly compare them, or can you say one was better than the other with some certainty? Because they bring two totally different feelings. Like Ryan was talking about, at the end of the Boneyard match, I was like, damn, that was intense. That was awesome. Like I felt it a different kind of way than I did when the Firefly Funhouse ended. It was very head scratching. It was very, what did I just watch? not in a bad way whatsoever, but it was like, what just happened? I know, Chrome, you and I were talking about it when it ended. I was like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was like Titus O'Neil in that regard. Titus was more, I don't want to say scared, but he was confused, right? I had some confusion in me of what?
That was the best part of it when they went back to Titus and you just see his face.
He was the
so
perfect
funny.
person to have there. But no, I mean, what I really liked was that they did go that nostalgic route with the Firefly Funhouse. And Bray was kind of like the John Cena's conscience throughout. And then they even went back to Bray Wyatt's original character. And all these things, all these different pieces came together, and it was really good. Like I said, the only thing I didn't initially get was the Saturday night's main event. But again, two totally different entities. You can't compare them properly.
Yeah, see, for me, I agree, or I disagree with the poll question. I mean, listen, you're right. They're 1 and 1A, two totally different presentations. But what I think tips the scale for me is the creativity, the outside the box thinking that went along with the Firefly Funhouse. And obviously it was reported after that was all Bruce Pritchard, Bray Wyatt, and John Cena. It was all the brainchild of all three of them collaborating together. And, the Boneyard match was amazing. And again, what I love is that WWE is utilizing this time to experiment. Something else that we're going to discuss a little bit later on is the Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa match, which was presented in a almost cinematic type of a format in terms of how they did that. They're taking these liberties now due to this situation, and they're being creative with it. So we have this. I mean, how much of a joke did we think a Boneyard match and a Firefly Funhouse match were going to be going into this, right?
Oh, I was terrified.
Like, let's be real. I mean, we talked about it on the preview show, and we're like, I don't even know what the hell this is. It's probably going to be something terrible. Like, how do you do this? We thought, I said on your show, Andy, I felt like this was going to be horribly presented in the way that Sting and Vampiro was in WCW, which was an atrocity. It was a train wreck.
Ugh.
That leaves a sour taste in Matt's mouth.
No, well, I watched it and
It's not good. It's
yeah.
bad. It's real bad.
I will say there was one comedic moment when they're fighting in the actual graveyard and they have no lights, so you can't see shit. But the ref has a flashlight and he's pointing it at them. It's like, yeah, because that's going to show us the whole fucking match. Great job, guys. Multi-million-dollar company, and you can't light a fucking cemetery. Good God
Yeah,
almighty.
it was bad. But, I just, I know, I watched WrestleMania with Andy through virtual viewing parties, so to speak. Me, Andy, Pete, and my buddy Jay were together for both nights. We had a couple others on the first night. But, that first night, part of it was so unexpected the way that was presented. We were all literally watching, and we mute the mics so you don't get the feedback. The network streams a little bit differently periodically. But we were literally sitting there, and part of the enjoyment of it, too, was to see the face on everybody at the different parts. I was sitting with my mouth, open like this, literally for 3 minutes straight, Andy, at one point?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You that was to your point, that was the best thing, watching everybody's reactions.
Andy at one point was like,
oh, yeah. I
literally did that.
I knew Chrome was there, too, but I'm such an Undertaker fan that I don't even remember what caused it. Like, I had an out-of-body experience, and I just lost it, and I was like, all right, I'm in. It might have been him on the motorcycle, actually. Because I was sitting with Chef, who has done In This Very Ring a few times, and I was sitting with him, and he never saw the Undertaker's motorcycle gimmick back in the day, and so I was freaking out because
yeah, and again too. So I like that they went back to that. Just the whole presentation of it was great. It was, and you're right, Andy. They were presented very differently. This was presented as a short film.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 25-minute film, cinematic presentation. It was well done. It was well acted. Go back. You can watch it over and over, and you pick up on something else every time you watch it. From the lighting of it, the choices that they made with that, to every little nuance of the things they say, like even the subtleties of AJ. Like Undertaker's carrying him, and he's talking to him, and he's like, "Please don't bury me. Please don't bury me." Like it was just perfect. It was well done. And then you go back and even look at the point where, AJ gets thrown off the top of, or off of that roof there on that building.
Yeah.
Into, whatever the
Pallets
wood
or
that
whatever
was
they
there,
were.
the pallets. And, Undertaker says to him, "What's my wife's name again?" Hey,
How
hey,
old am I?
It was perfect. It was just, everything was spot on. And what this also does is it allows longevity for the Undertaker. They could now conceivably in this format continue on and do more with this Undertaker character. I mean, hell, Mick Foley's asking to be a part of it next year.
Let me ask you guys this too, and fam at home, we'll get to the comments in a few. So we're obviously believing that this biker. I don't even like calling him the biker because I still think it's different. I think this is a newer version of it because he's still incorporating. Sure. He's incorporating like the dead man type powers, quote unquote.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know who said it, but somebody called it a hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a hybrid. Yep, agreed.
So my question is that mean we're never going to see the dead man character ever again? Is this the thing? Is this the character we're going to see him roll with until the end?
Who knows at this point? We don't even know when he's going to hang it up. I mean, I know they're making that series on the network about, possibly leading into when Taker might think about retiring, but it's like, even if he retires from actually going to the ring and showing up on Raws, or SmackDowns, he could still do one of these off and on at a WrestleMania. It doesn't even matter, So, I don't know. Hard to say, really. Depends on the setting, I guess.
I definitely think that we don't see the dead man character for a while because this takes the nuance that is the dead man, in the mystical powers or whatever you want to call them, combines it with the badass fighter that was the biker character and gives you that new hybrid. I truly think that even though we got him at 34, I think 33 was the last kind of ride for the dead man as far as the character goes. I think you're going to start doing more of this moving forward. What we saw in the lead up to WrestleMania was them trying to figure out what that character should look like.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you've got the little bits like Chrome said. You had the Ministry Undertaker at one point. We got the Biker Undertaker at another point. It was just trying to figure out which look fit well for him moving forward. Because you can take this character, to Chrome's point, and run with it for the next 5-10 years.
I actually thought for a second, and it was only just for a split second, I thought when they brought the Druids out, I'm like, you watch, it's going to pull down, it's going to be all the Ministry members.
Could you imagine?
That would have been kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
Midian.
You would see Gangrel over here.
Only if we get Naked Midian.
No.
Yes. There you go. Naked Midian with the fanny pack to cover.
That would have been something if Edge was one of them. Be like, "Hey, Edge, you're doing double duty."
Yeah. Tragically, the only person who can't be there is Viscera. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is here, though. Yeah, you could have Farouk there. He could say "damn," and then you had JBL's there. It's like, what the hell?
Though, before we get to the comments, I just want to for the Firefly Fun House. We knew after seeing the Boneyard match that it was going to be something different. I didn't expect the presentation of this how it was either. And I said to Andy, on the viewing, I said, "So is this like a regular match when he first came out, right?" And then obviously you saw the direction they went. But I just think it was so deep. There's so many Easter eggs in there. And for one thing, as a fan, a longtime fan who has followed John Cena from start to finish, for a fan who has been along for the ride, for the Bray Wyatt ride, all the Easter eggs, all the storytelling that went with that. And it was all about everything that John Cena either didn't get done or all of his insecurities. The fear of, and I actually showed Andy this. I believe too in the fear of the not being big enough. The workout stuff, I think a lot of that had to do with that. And I also think there's the symbolism. The Saturday night's main event, they go back to the era of Hogan. And he's related a lot of times. He's put in the conversation of a Hogan type of character, right? Mm-hmm. Not as great of a worker in the ring, but a big time character. He was given the Hogan treatment. I think that's what that was a nod to. And again, everything's open for interpretation, which is what makes it that much better because there's so many theories out there on so many things. The fear of turning heel and what it could do. You got the NWO out of that. What if he would have turned heel? What NWO Cena would have looked like? You know, you had somebody even went in deep dove. I didn't even read it this way, but the comments he made about Husky Harris, right? Well, when he's throwing the punches at Bray, who does it end up being? Huskus the Pig. And his history back with the Nexus. Mm-hmm. There were so many deep things to this.
And like the comment about Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, that was a blatant and obvious one. It was great, though.
That was amazing.
Like that's why I love this one so much more, because as amazing as the short film of The Undertaker was, this was just so out of the box, so creative, and there's so many ways to interpret it that to me, it's a home run. It is. That's, The Undertaker one is a home run. This is like the grand slam for me. They absolutely crushed this one out of the park.
I'm not going to lie. I actually cried laughing when John Cena showed up in his prototype outfit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, I literally started laughing because then they started referencing, because I saw the Ruthless Aggression series, they started referencing how it didn't get over. The prototype gimmick didn't get over on SmackDown. And he made the comment of, who the hell would have thought this would have gotten over? And when Bray Wyatt said that, I cried laughing at that moment. I'm like, yeah, that was such a fail. Until he became the rapper in the Dr. Thugonomics, it was not going well for Cena.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that the Ruthless Aggression stuff came out in the build-up to all of this, with the whole John Cena, that specific episode coming out early on.
Yeah.
My question, though, now that we've talked about the NWO, is what it was in the original plans. Was Eric supposed to be in the ring for that? Because he, could have been there that weekend. Could it have gotten Eric in the ring to cut that promo rather than Bray cutting back to Eric, and so on and so forth?
No, I would say no, just because Bray Wyatt kind of played the characters of like of Angle, for example. If they threw Eric in there, it would almost like it could have been a one-off, and I would have been fine with it. So I don't think I'm against it, but it would have been like, oh, how is Eric Bischoff in the Firefly Fun House? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that makes sense.
Kind of fourth wall. I mean, the whole thing was fourth wall break or third wall, whatever the hell it is. You don't understand my point, but I think because Wyatt was playing the role of everybody, I don't think it was in the original plan.
No, and just the way it ended, using all of his words against him at the very end, and it was the Fiend who hits the move, and it was Bray who counts the 3. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
That was my favorite part.
I've watched it 3 times, and every time I look at it in a different way, and I'm still going. I'm going to watch it more and see if I can pick up on things I missed or find different interpretations. It's amazing, and I mean, I know the final deletion or the all the Matt Hardy stuff is kind of trailblazing in this field, and Impact does like the Dark Realm and different things like that. But man, this to me was like the best one they've ever had,
True,
without question. Let's definitely hit the fans' comments. We got a lot on there.
Yes, so we will start off with Mr. David Broska. He says, WrestleMania 36 Part 1 and 2 was so awesome. Agreed.
Love it, Broska.
Tom over on Twitch says, Twitch fam, what's good? Hello, Tom.
What's up?
Big Hurt 21 saying, what up?
What up?
We got Ritz. We got Roska letting us know Brandon Cooks was traded to the Texans. Kevin Green Screen Godwin. He says, what's up, boys? Love the stash.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yo, we'll Brodo, show him the graphic. It's time to show him the graphic.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
The fans got to see it. We saw it.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So
And the irony of that was that this was not planned. I didn't know they had this graphic, and I was wearing a Rick Rude shirt.
That'll definitely boost the ratings.
I had to rep the mustache here, so that was beautiful. It was perfect.
Ralph letting us all know that he's here.
What's up, Ralphie?
Hey, Ralph.
He says The Undertaker is back.
Yes.
Thomas Campbell says, did you guys move the hairpiece from Andy's
started
head
laughing
to
at this
Chrome's lips?
I laughed.
Nice, Tom. Thanks, buddy.
Good
love
one.
it.
Good one.
Eileen says, good evening, guys. How are you all?
Hey, Eileen.
What's up,
Hey,
Eileen?
Eileen. Living the dream, Eileen.
Greg says, what's up, fellas? Agree to the poll. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thomas Campbell says, both of those matches would have been more impactful if they had not been used at the same event. By themselves, they are pretty cool matches. 2 at one event lessens both, in my opinion.
Not really, because it's on separate nights. If it was if it was the exact same day, I would 110% agree, because that takes all the heat away from the other. But no, it was 2 separate nights. It's 2 separate shows.
Because we had time to process them differently and enjoy them differently.
Ralphie says, The Undertaker needs to fight Kane.
Ralph needs to go to an English class.
Yeah,
I know.
We knew that already, though, Andy. That's not breaking.
You know, I have to say, I that was the one I expected. I expected an appearance from Kane. Obviously, with everything going on, you can't really expect anything. But I was a little surprised we didn't get Kane. Not disappointed, but I was surprised.
Here's the thing, though. In this form, if they
Where in the world?
I just saw this on the screen. I'm like, wait, who's this?
But
yo, boys, what's up, man?
Hey, Pete. Well, I was gonna
Can't
say,
hear you, Pete.
Wait, you couldn't hear him?
We can hear him.
We can hear him.
Oh, I can't hear him. It's doing that thing again. I'm not bouncing out, so.
But I was gonna say, in the format that they shot the whole Boneyard match thing, it would be interesting if like next year or whenever Kane's done his gubernatorial duties or his mayor duties or whatever the fuck he was elected to, what if they had that where you could go through the history of Taker and Kane in that kind of cinematic format? I think that would be a lot of fun to do, you know, because it's not them in the ring. It's them doing the whole cinematic experience. I think that'd be fun to do if they can get Kane after he's done doing his political stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be
something different.
Let's see. Greg says, back to a virtual happy hour. Sorry, guys.
Enjoy it. Brother, I got one plan for tomorrow and one plan for Saturday, so don't worry.
I've started now.
Weekend starts now.
I drank till 3 a.m. last night, and I had to get up for work at 8.
Does that explain the mustache? Does that explain the mustache?
No. I did the mustache beforehand, but I wish I could have used that as an excuse.
You started sending pictures to the team group. I woke up. I'm like, what is happening in here?
Yeah, I could have sworn a message I got was I was drunk and bored.
Yeah, that's what I got too, Andy.
I could just see Cruz sitting in front of the mirror, just taking shots and shaving at the same time.
But the revelation of this had come well before. I've been thinking about doing it for a couple of days. So
you just got the courage.
I was definitely going to do it. I just decided that was going to be the day I was going to do it.
Tom says to the poll, I'll say agree, but I have absolutely no clue. Frank says, hey, yo, sorry to bother you at work. I hope your day was simply ravishing. We're really glad that you're our friends, and this is a friendship that will never,
ever. Vespi needs to get out of the house.
Ralph was asking. Go ahead, Maddie.
I was going to say, Chrome needs to go get a robe just to complete that. Just keep the shirt on, but, the robe.
For the love of God, keep the shirt on. We want to stay on the air.
Yeah. Ralph was asking where I went. Well, Ralph, I was posting the Brandon Cooks thing, so I didn't want to be 2 hours of me just looking down at my phone. So Brock visit. David saying Ryan with the Brock Lesnar face. Yep, and now it's the Undertaker face. Let's see. Ralph is now communicating to Frank via our chat. Ralph saying nice upper lip hair, Chrome. And he's saying Chrome going back to the 80s with that. Now all you need is some chew. Pove saying both were cool and innovative. I enjoyed Funhouse match, the Funhouse match more for the Easter eggs and shoots, but Boneyard was a nice fight.
Agree with that.
Ralph says, I didn't watch any of the matches. Why, you ask? Well, because I'm not into it anymore, but The Undertaker is cool.
Go
Well, you
back and
missed
watch the
out.
Undertaker match at least. The Undertaker one was good.
Yeah, the
It
Undertaker,
was.
Undertaker match.
You're a
was
fan.
fantastic.
And it's not presented as regular wrestling. It's presented as it's like a small short film.
Yeah.
Tom says, I'm glad you boys still have wrestling going for you. I'm dying over here.
It's true.
Hey, man, I'm thankful we still got it. Who knows how long we got it?
Let's see.
I think we're gonna have it for a while with everything they're talking about and announcing.
Yeah.
Well, I hope, but you never know. Florida could all of a sudden put the kibosh on things, and then we don't get wrestling anymore. You know.
Fair.
Ooh, interesting. Jake says, "What's up, boys? Disagree to the poll for me. It's Edge and Orton just because it brings back the early 2000s nostalgia for me.
That was a good match, though.
I think it ran too long.
I didn't like it. I'll just say it right now. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring.
Really, really long. The second half of it was good.
Yeah.
It was a tough watch.
First half was very boring, and
I-
it was cool to see Edge though.
I would say this, though. I think that they should be given credit, though. They did do everything they could to make it work, considering that they went everywhere. They literally went everywhere in the
And that
performance
part was
center to make
cool.
something happen.
I think what killed it and what made it feel like it was so much longer was you couldn't hear them talking to each other really, and they weren't doing a whole lot of it anyway. But then, well, who was calling it? Tom and Byron.
They were not
silent.
Yeah.
No energy, no nothing. Yeah.
No, it killed it.
Yeah, I would say that killed it. Yeah.
Pete, talk for me and see if I can hear you.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Oh. Well, okay.
I don't hear him.
Oh Lord.
Little,
If he's staying in, I'm gonna have to bounce.
Ravish and Rick Rude can't hear me.
Yeah.
Pete, can you sign Pete?
Can you
Do any-
Pete's got some sign language for everybody.
Yeah, but go ahead, Pete.
Go
What were
ahead,
you gonna
Ryan.
say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Maddie, like I really like the idea and what they were going for in this match. But to Andy's point, like Dave said, Ciampa versus Gargano was like Orton and Edge. Well, here's the thing with Ciampa and Gargano. It was short. That's why it worked. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't prolonged. It didn't go and go and go and go. This, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it? Didn't it go down as one of the longest WrestleMania matches ever?
It timed in at 36 minutes 35 seconds, which I do think is the second longest behind the Iron Man match with Hart and HBK.
Yes. So, like, if this would have been around like 15 to 20 minutes, yeah, I probably would have enjoyed it. It would have been less stuff. It just kind of filled in. And I know it had to be long because they were going throughout the building and everything, but
and I think you can keep this. Go ahead, Maddie.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, do you think that you guys would have been into the first half instead of the second half more if the announcing had been better? You know,
See, that was the point I was going to bring up.
yeah.
I think if Tom and Byron have more energy behind them, because this was an important match. This was Edge's first in-ring singles competition being back, and also it was kind of like a blood match between these two in the sense of what Orton had done to Edge, and Orton had done to Beth, and I think there should have been more from the announcers, and I think Edge and Orton would have benefited from a lot of that trash talking that we saw with other matches, with Rhea and Charlotte, with even Gargano and Ciampa last night had a fair amount of it.
yeah, it was tough.
Rosca commented Ciampa and Gargano was like Orton and Edge last man standing. I could not disagree more.
Yeah.
It was a completely different presentation. That was everything, and my buddy said this, but I 1,000% agree. That was everything that I wanted Edge and Orton to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Had the same exact thought.
Have a good night, Eileen.
Bye, Eileen.
Bye, Eileen.
Good night, Eileen. Thanks for popping in. Stay safe.
Pope says, I had a good feeling about the Boneyard match and Firefly because WWE has Jeremy Borash, who directed the final deletion segments for Matt Hardy. It's a good point, Pope. That's a very
good point.
That is a good point.
Now, do we know which? Because I remember hearing that, what was it? Bray Wyatt, Cena, and
Bruce Richard.
It was
Correct.
Bruce.
Yes. Do we know if Borash was involved with that, or if he was involved with the Boneyard?
I don't know who directed it. I know that the creative of it was done by those three gentlemen.
Gotcha.
He may have
may-
been directing it, but
If you're smart, you have Borash help on those. May not lead it, but you have. I think if you're smart, you have him there.
And not even just him. They have Abyss back there, too.
I
Abyss
forgot
was a
about
part
that.
of a lot of that.
And Sanjay Dutt. Can't forget about Sanjay Dutt.
Happy
the
birthday to him. I believe today or yesterday is his birthday. Happy birthday,
Wow.
Sanjay.
the original player from the Himalaya. Nice.
Is SoCal Val with him? Is SoCal Val back there with him?
I
Whoa.
love the head shake from Pete.
I don't know if SoCal Val's doing anything appropriate nowadays.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Really?
Oh, she got into that. She followed China's
Who just
footsteps?
said really?
Oh,
Who
okay.
said really?
Who do you think said really?
Did you hear Pete? He was like, really?
He got interested real quick.
Hold on, I'll be back. Um,
30 minutes later.
Brian Daly says, I don't think AJ wanted Undertaker. He wanted the man. He made it super personal with him leading into WrestleMania, so they gave him the man, not the Undertaker. Sorry, I don't know his real name. Mark Calloway.
It's all right. It was great.
Pove says, I never went heel like Hogan, even though the people wanted it, referring to Cena and the Firefly Fun House.
Yeah, that's a lot of the symbolism that you saw with the NWO portion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Someone over on Periscope saying Fun House for life.
D-Rofo show.
B Dales 85 saying Stash looks good, Chrome.
Thank
I
you.
was calling you the GOAT, Mr. Sensuti.
What's up?
Let's see. Jerry says, I'm here, WWE champion Drew McIntyre. And he says, how are you guys?
What's up?
Gary.
Doing good.
Yo.
Frank was saying when Pete came in, he says, we've got to run in. We've got to run in. Raymond said that he thinks the McIntyre match was too short.
Okay. It was the same match as Braun and Goldberg.
It was
terrible.
rinse and repeat of Braun and Goldberg.
It's
Yeah.
not that it was short. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Really? You think it was terrible?
It was a finishing spot fest, Bruno.
Oh, well, of course. I know
And it
that,
was the
Andy. I
same-
saw the match, Andy.
And it was the exact same amount as they had in the Goldberg Braun match too.
Yeah.
It just went 2 minutes longer.
I wasn't disappointed in it because I expected that, because it was it's a Lesnar
Terrible.
match.
No,
Terrible.
All right, go ahead, Ritz.
I didn't expect it to be a 4-minute, 35-second match. You know?
But it did double Goldberg and Braun.
Oh yeah, it doubled it, but I didn't expect that. I expected it
wasn't
to
hard
go
to do,
longer because Brock has
Yeah,
proven
I
that
know.
he can go longer with the right opponent.
Pete
Yeah,
watched with us. There was one point, remember, Pete, where we were like, thank God that Billy turned off the screen behind him because literally by the time Ritz would have got to it, he would have seen the finish before Brock got in the ring.
Oh yeah,
Or not Brock, Goldberg.
Goldberg, yeah.
Yeah, that
My-
match sucked. That match
I-
sucked.
I will say this though. Do you think that they made a mistake in having Drew and Brock close out the final part of the night, or not
Yes.
doing the Firefly Funhouse to finish it off?
Yes.
yes.
Hold
Yes.
on. Hold on. You said that match sucked. It was the exact same match, Ryan.
It doesn't. No, because the finish. No. Don't try to spin it on me. Don't you try and do this. Don't you try and
It
do
was the
this.
same match.
It wasn't. It
Four
wasn't.
finishers to
It
four to
wasn't
three
the same
finishers.
match. It wasn't the same match.
Stop
Was
it.
the involvement with the finish to where we had so much going into it, waiting so many years of us waiting for Drew McIntyre to finally be the guy? Did that not make that match better than the Braun Strowman?
No, because it was the same match.
The finish.
Well,
The biggest
okay.
part of the match was Drew McIntyre finally capturing what we've been waiting for the last 10 years, Chrome.
Braun winning by chance, not even supposed to be in that match, to me was more exciting because he deserved it more, in my opinion.
Also,
Disagree.
there is a similarity between the two challengers because there was a time period where we really wanted to see Braun as champion. Unfortunately, that has long since passed, but there was a time period where both of them were like, okay, these two have to be streamlined to a championship as soon as possible.
I agree with that. I agree, but there was many more years of conversations of Drew McIntyre being the one. compared to Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman wasn't even freaking wrestling the last time that Drew McIntyre was in the WWE. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, he was
You
not
give me that face all you want with the mustache. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Said how they're different.
Say that again, Andy.
You still really haven't clarified how you think they're different matches.
Because of how invested I was in the finish of the Drew McIntyre match, seeing him finally win a belt, winning the belt, and me not caring about Braun Strowman just picking up the pieces of that match that was lost.
It's purely based on how invested you were.
So
yes,
so
yes.
That's fair. Okay, that's so you enjoyed the match. You enjoyed the result more.
Yes, that's my point.
The match was terrible.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a good match, but I enjoyed the result. I said that from the beginning.
This is what families do. We just talk things out until we all get on the same page. Okay, that's fine.
Question
So don't you try and twist. I've been saying that for years.
So
maybe you misspoke. Your words were you liked that match better than the other match, not the results.
No, I like the match better because of the result.
And now we're back to here.
Is the result not part of the match?
No,
I mean,
the match.
Can we go back to the training wheels?
I could love the winner.
Not part of the match.
I could love the winner and think the match stinks.
Can't we all agree that the Hell in the Cell match between Undertaker and Boss Man sucked?
Well, yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, but they murdered somebody. That's awesome.
That's my favorite.
They did do that though. Yeah, at the end of the day, they did do that.
Pete, I think I cut you off. Go ahead, buddy.
No, so I feel as if as a larger fan base, would you not thought that having Drew demolish Goldberg like Braun did, and then Braun get more redemption on Brock? I think that'd have been a better way to go, but that's in hindsight. We can't revisit that.
I agree with that.
But what definitely killed Drew versus Brock was the fact that it did close out what was up until that point a great night of two nights. Yep. And we really don't think about the Braun Goldberg match because it really got lost. I mean, because it was earlier in the card. This place was.
It was before the Boneyard match, so it was earlier in the card.
I think both the Boneyard and
I forget
the Firefly Fun House should have closed out the show because it left everybody talking. Like we had talked about it on Sunday. If Braun and Goldberg would have ended night one of WrestleMania, we would have had a totally different conversation.
Yep.
But you have to understand they're setting up programming, right? So if that happened, you would have never got, for the first time ever in the history of WrestleMania, somebody challenged for the title 30 minutes or less after somebody just won the title.
Stop.
No. Ryan, cue the face.
Which one? We have a bunch of faces now.
Mine.
Chrome needs a face now.
Thank you.
Listen, I'll take mine over yours anytime, buddy. You can put mine up 900 times and I'm good.
Wow. Okay. Not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but
right.
you know.
No, the graphic they made for me is awesome. I think it's hilarious.
Mine serves a purpose.
It's the Andy Pettingill face.
No, mine's the you said some stupid face.
Ooh, Andy Pettingill. Frank says, I do need to get out of the house, though, Andy. All the furniture in my house just started to talk. They all demand that I should not say the secret word.
Can you say that comment being a teacher?
You shouldn't be at Pee-wee's Playhouse when you're in quarantine. Just letting you know, Frank.
Oh my God, Raymond.
The Charlotte versus Rhea match sounded like a porn video.
Okay.
Let's see.
So SFW.
Frank saw something you did, Pete. I didn't see. I don't know what he's referring to though.
You know,
He's talking about the SoCal Val thing, I think.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Pope. Yeah, I didn't like that. Pope says you guys have an issue with Orton choking Edge with the weight strap. Some uproar on Twitter caused similarity to an awful past. I didn't like it. I don't think we needed it. It's especially now that it's fresh in everybody's mind thanks to the Dark Side of the Ring, which, by the way, fellas, if you haven't watched any of the episodes for this season,
it's awesome.
Next week's episode on here will be a recap of all the episodes this season so far. So please be prepared.
What was this
Nice.
last?
And if,
This last one was.
Brawl for all.
Raw.
I gotta go watch that
which I am excited to talk about that one. I
have
mean,
to go
there's
watch it.
never a bad one. So just for the fam, real quick programming note. It's the best freaking wrestling documentary series. Check it out on Vice. It's on their YouTube page. Watch it, and that we really want to have a conversation with people next week. It's going to be the Benoit murders, the New Jack, everything New Jack. That guy's a
The attempted
fucking
New
nut.
Jack murders.
And obviously the Brawl for All. And then next week is the Snuka murders as well.
Wow.
So it's going to be a lot to talk about. And then my favorite one after that, Dino Bravo. But yeah, no, I did not like that spot. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
I felt like he was improvising it, realized it, and got out of it real quick.
Yeah,
I think the light bulb
Really
went
bad
off
that I didn't initially catch it until someone brought it up.
as soon as
after
he
the
put him
fact.
in there. I was like, this is not the way to go.
No, it didn't click to me until someone brought it up after the fact.
I think in the process of trying to make the match, more dramatic and tell a story, and more psychology, I think that they thought of the spot and they just didn't think it through. It can happen, especially if you're calling a match right then and there. Like Pete said, in the moment, you may think, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense in an actual confrontation, but then you realize, oh, that may be taken the wrong way, So I think it was just a mistake.
Thomas Campbell says Brock was conserving his energy for his fight with Vince. That's fake news. That never happened.
Hi, Trump.
I'm just letting him know it's fake news. 2 world champ matches that were kind of squashes on the same show. Same point from earlier. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a waste. Those title matches.
Yeah.
Raymond Rivera. Funny thing is, Drew and Braun were tag team partners. That's true. I didn't think about
Shit.
that.
They were. Holy
Damn.
shit. Ain't that funny?
Raymond also says, do you think Roman is going to win the Universal title? So, yeah. So, I think the idea, let's kind of talk about it, right? So, clearly Roman is out. I don't think we see Roman until at least there's a vaccine. At least.
Absolutely.
He's a super high risk. It's not worth it. So, it's kind of like, how do you delay WrestleMania not knowing? How do you... There's no guarantee you're going to be able to get Goldberg back, right? To have him come back to work a program, because we said, oh, maybe SummerSlam or Survivor Series. I mean, hell, now they're talking about doing a second stimulus, and this thing could be going through till next year. So realistically, you can't guarantee that. So what do? You have to find somebody who's believable in the program. And Braun is that guy. Braun's going to get a good run. Even if Roman comes back and wins, I don't expect to see Roman for at least 5 to 6 months.
Agreed.
I agree.
So,
Which Braun can capitalize on this opportunity if they can, and just build him as super monster. Like, you have a second chance. This is Act 2 for Braun and for Drew, to be honest with you. And let's see if they make the best of the opportunity.
You're spot on, Pete. And the deal is, doesn't matter how he got here. If he backed into it by luck or by the unfortunate circumstance of Roman, it is what it is. But now it's an opportunity. It's the opportunity to be able to now go out there and show them why they made the mistake the first time. And I think Braun's going to do it. I think Braun's really going to have a good run with it.
Absolutely.
My question for you guys, and especially the fam at home, I know we talked about this in the chat a couple of days ago, about talking about the winners, the biggest winners and obviously losers from the 2-night. Do you guys, if you want to discuss that now, everybody in the chat kind of give a list of who you guys think were the biggest winners of the weekend and losers of the weekend. But whoever wants, if Chrome, if you want to start and give yours, and then we can kind of go around.
There's a couple ways you could go with it. I'll say one now, and then if you guys don't say another one, I'll throw another one in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Braun again, simply for the fact that this is an opportunity for Braun, and I believe that if he can do what we all have believed, if he could be the guy we thought he could have been 2 or 3 years ago, This will start cementing his spot as a guy to stay for a long time in the main event card.
Mr. Ritter?
That's my winner. I have to think about a loser, so you can go ahead.
See, winner, excuse me, winner wise, I gotta kind of go with the Undertaker as a winner. It kind of silences everybody and them saying it. Undertaker doesn't need to be at WrestleMania. Undertaker can't go. Undertaker can't do this. He needs to hang him up. This showed that given a different format, while still being those characters and still doing what we enjoy watching them do, Undertaker has a different depth to him now, and there's more that you can do with him. He can still fight. He's still one of the best strikers in the industry, and this just kind of silenced everybody. I thought, and I said it on my show on Sunday, I thought the Boneyard match made Undertaker look 10 years younger, and so I think Undertaker's a winner coming out of this weekend.
Maddie?
I mean, obviously the biggest winner is Otis. He got me.
Good point.
That's
a
great.
great
I was
point.
waiting for somebody
You
to
are,
say that.
damn, you are on. I like it, Patty.
Hell yeah.
Pete?
I really think it's a WWE universe as a whole, right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, we had something. So for Saturday and Sunday, I had something to look forward to watching it with these guys in the house party fashion to still feel like I wasn't watching it by myself. So once again, whether it was right, wrong, or different, it had its good, it had its bad, it had its great. I mean, Firefly Fun House, great. Boneyard Match, great. Good. Charlotte, Rhea Charlotte was good. The triple threat, the tag titles for the ladder, good.
That was
Did
a
it
good
have
match.
its bad?
That was a very good match.
Yeah, it had its bad. Did it have its disappointments? I mean, we can all consider and say Edge and Orton just went a little bit too long. It lost some steam. It lost some thunder. You know what I mean? Bad. The worst match is probably on the card were the title matches. I mean, but in this day and age, if you look at how a company is built, it's not Vince isn't marketing it to be around the straps anymore. I mean, you really have to go back and look. Honestly, now that I think about it, I think Drew's probably the most recent workhorse champion, young enough, not on the other side of 35, and he can just work for everything. He hasn't had any injuries or anything like that, so you're going to see this guy work in and out. I mean, even with Roman when he was out there, the leukemia stopped him. Seth, when for his first run, he had the torn ACL. His last, I won't even count last year's run because once he started teaming with Becky in the summertime, that killed that shit. That killed everything. All that momentum he had to be the Beast Slayer, that killed that. With Drew, with Braun, you have a fresh slate, and hopefully we can get back to the prestige that these titles actually mean because it's two guys that have them now that have never had them before.
Pete, to kind of jump on that too, it almost makes you kind of think, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but there has been a lot of uncertainty as far as the durability now with Roman, and it's not his fault, obviously. It's what's going on. And it does make you wonder if they are looking at Drew, who doesn't have the injury history, who's a young guy, who could possibly be that flag bearer. Should Roman not be able to pick up the flag and run with it?
Good point.
Yeah, I think they fast track. I don't want to say fast track Drew, but they put him in that oh shit scenario of, hey, Roman might go down again. We need a backup because when Roman left, he really didn't have anybody other than Seth to kind of carry things, and they needed that. They need that person to carry them.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt. I would say that there was not anybody else in WWE, maybe not anybody else in the wrestling world that could have orchestrated and been the centerpiece of something that risky, that original, that strange, that interesting that was the Firefly Fun House. I don't know. Like somebody would say probably Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy, it's its own thing. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anybody else that could have pulled off what Bray Wyatt did with that performance. And the fact that the two people that were being talked about the most, and to Pete's point, neither of them were the main champions. Neither of them are champions, period. Meaning, The Undertaker, who, to Andy's point, was, if he's not the biggest winner, I think he's, 1A, 1B with Bray Wyatt. Everyone was saying, okay, well, The Undertaker doesn't have it anymore. He should have been retired 5 years ago. And I was one of those people, by the way. And obviously, Bray Wyatt being obviously, ever since he lost the title, we were having discussions on, is the character stale? Is this it? Is he ruined? Well, we've completely gone a full 180 and said this could arguably be the best moment for the character so far. That if there was a way to rebound after losing a title to a part-time Goldberg, it would be this. It would be the way they did it. So to me, the two people that stole the show, Undertaker, obviously, and Bray Wyatt. And I think that's very, very telling. And I think it's really impressive that the two most interesting, risky acts and parts of the shows were the best parts of the shows.
Yeah.
And Cena too. I would put Cena in with them because to me, Wyatt and Cena are 1 and 1A. I mean, I might even make the argument that people were just talking about Cena just a little bit more because you didn't see that coming with Cena, and he was all in on all of it. We expect this now from this character with Bray, but I mean, listen, whether you love John Cena or not, he's at that point where WWE says, "Listen, man, we want you to do this," and he is all in. He does everything. And this proved it. He went out there and he could have been. I mean, this guy's like a serious actor now. He's in serious movies, so he could be very highly criticized. To me, it's almost a risk for him to go in and do something this silly, and people could bash his acting skills, right? But he said, "Screw it! I'm going to go in. I'm going to do it. We're going to do it the way we want to do it and have fun with it." And he let them take liberties, the Nikki bashing and this that. Like, it was pretty great.
And that's kudos to, because Cena, really, history has shown he's been known to knock guys down. So to really be at this point in his career where he's willing to work and go out on his back, I mean, because for Bray, it's like the perfect alignment, because it was with Cena that really this started, where we saw that downward trend with Bray's character when he had all this momentum. Like he said, he revisited. He had everybody in New Orleans singing, you got the whole world in his hands. He has the whole, like, that was that spot. And then why does that guy not go over? So for Cena now to go on his back and then let Bray go over, that's kudos to Cena as well, like you said. And I want to say this, I want to preface this. If WWE, if anybody gets a chance to listen to this, you keep Taker and Bray away from each other as long as you can. Do not rush to put Bray and Taker together, whatever version of Taker, because what this showed you is the little 8-year-old kid when Taker came out, and you're like, we believe in the supernatural. That's what we gravitate to. We want to watch this two regular men, whether they're in shape, and it could be a good work rate, but what is it believable? What is the attraction? And with these two guys, you have an attraction. We don't need to have them rush to be together right now. And I'm fearful for that. So hopefully they don't do that.
Before we get into the losers, I just kind of had an epiphany here, sitting here listening to you guys talk about Bray and the Firefly Fun House match. I initially was going to say, you know what? I don't ever want to see them do another Firefly Fun House for quite some time. Right? But you could essentially do this same match with different talent, different people, and every single match is always going to be different. Because I read it, I don't know if Chrome, you sent it to me or somebody sent it to me, but it's almost like the Firefly Funhouse highlights failures, weaknesses, insecurities, and makes you face those fears, so to say. And so it's always going to be different with everybody you have in there.
And to think what we saw with Firefly Funhouse, right? It almost makes you think, if I wish they would have did this when he had the strap. Imagine how many guys could have challenged for the Universal title in a Firefly Funhouse, to piggyback off what Andy just said, and you take them through their arc of their WWE career to the 3MB. You can go through Dolph with the Spirit Squad. You can go through Kofi with the Jamaican accent. Anything, the fake Jamaican accent. How many arcs you could have had? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Matty.
I'm going to say that with something like that being a special attraction and a special kind of match, I would say less is more in terms of doing it. Don't do it with everybody. Do it with certain people. Like, if there's a big rivalry going on with The Fiend right now, and it's someone who is being a thorn in his side and he ain't stopping, you can bring him into the Firefly Funhouse and say, okay, I know how to take care of him once and for all. Or if it's someone that, like a John Cena, they have a long history and they have a history that intertwines with Bray, you could do that. I don't think you should do it with everybody, because we could see how easily you can highlight certain things and everything, but it's just but there's no reason for it. There's no context for it. They're just doing it now just for the shit of it. That's not how you want to do this. You want to make this have purpose and have meaning to it.
Yeah, see, I'm with Maddie in terms of even the Boneyard type of match and stuff like that. If they do it again, give me a year, make it a WrestleMania thing or something. The same thing with this. It's so special. It's so unique. What was the problem with the Matt Hardy universe, right? The broken universe. It got very easily overexposed. They went right to the well, right again, and it just wasn't special anymore. I mean, this to me is the ideal way for Undertaker to go away. Give him this, and it's not the Boneyard match. Give him this battle with Bray and The Fiend. Let's go through that adventure of everything there, and it's a great way to highlight the Undertaker's career on the way out the door as well. And then have The Fiend put him down and bury him for good. That's it.
And The Fiend, he should just be a part-time guy. He's such an act. I don't need to see him wrestle 6 times a year or 7 times a year.
I wouldn't use the phrase part-time. That has a negative connotation with fans now.
True, but we don't need to see him in ring wrestle. He can contribute so much more just with good Firefly Fun Houses and mind tricks. But to actually see Bray / The Fiend compete, give it to me 2-3 times a year. Give it to me when it only matters.
Yeah, I see what you're going. You're going with more like when Undertaker in the 90s. He didn't always have to wrestle. He was an attraction in and of himself.
Yep.
I mean, I'm okay with having Bray go all year and just having less of The Fiend and more of Sweater Bray.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to recommend. Get the creepy Mr. Rogers out there more often.
Yeah, I think that works perfectly fine. I love it.
Yeah, he sells the matches a lot. So
yeah,
I thought his matchup with The Miz was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the build up to that match was fantastic.
Well, it's like what we talked about, when we first started seeing the new, the Fiend, for example. I really think that, and we talked about it, like I said, when it started, that it's kind of the 3 faces of Foley. So you can tap into that, for the entirety of how long they run with this, to where every time Bray Wyatt is on screen or if he's involved in something, it doesn't always have to be The Fiend. I would actually be open, sometime down the line of us seeing kind of like we saw on Sunday, some of the old Bray. Kind of, 3 different versions of, Bray Wyatt is around, but you don't know which one.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I like that idea.
That was a great touch, by the way, bringing the old school Bray back. That was
absolutely my favorite part.
And you could actually bring the old Bray back now because he got over his biggest hurdle, Cena. You can use that. Okay, when Thanos beat Hulk up in the first Infinity Gauntlet, and Hulk did not come back out no more because Thanos was still around. It's kind of the same thing. You can use Bray as a vulnerability that Cena was it. He conquered that now, or even add a new character, add the Muscle Man to it. Behind the old school 1980 Blue Cage, which I love, by the way. I wish they bring that back more.
I say all the time, I miss the Blue Cage so badly.
So what we have to do is we have to have Bray come out in the Rumble 3 times, and he comes out at all.
I don't think I'd hate that. I don't think I would hate that.
We got to do it. We got to parallel with Nick now.
They did it with Foley, yeah. Daniel Bagley says wrestling The Fiend means something like I said before. When you wrestle him and you lose, you aren't the same. A la Balor became Prince Devitt again. Miz went back to teaming with Morrison, and Rollins became the Messiah. I dig it. I like it.
We've talked about that before, Chrome, to where, and this is
we have.
This is why, again, this was a few months ago when we were hearing rumors and we were speculating, could it be Bray Wyatt versus Roman for the title? And I was saying, while everyone wasn't that interested, not everyone, I think everyone here was pretty fine with it, but I'm just saying, just collectively as fans, there were people like, oh, that's going to be annoying. Roman's going to win again. And I said, okay, well, sure, Roman 99% of the time is going to win a WrestleMania match. That's just the way it is. But to Daniel Bakley's point, like we've talked about before, every time you face the Fiend, you come out different. So I said, okay, well, could this be the way Roman finally turns heel, to where he comes out and then the next night on SmackDown or Raw or whatever, he's now a heel, to where that would have been really, really good. So with Cena now, and I'm not saying, oh, this means Cena's going to be a heel, but if we ever see him again, and this kind of goes into a question I was going to ask later, but I'll just ask now, because I know there's rumors now that, oh, maybe this is the last time we'll see Cena. This was the unofficial retirement. I personally don't buy into that, because
I don't buy it either.
I don't think he's going to leave until he gets that final championship, to where, they do the thing with Ric Flair. I mean, we may not see him for a couple of years. That's possible. And then he does something like The Rock, to where he shows up, 3 years later, 2 years later. That's possible. But in your opinion, do you think this could lead to him, when he does come back, being somewhat different? Or do you just think the impact with Cena is not going to be how he comes back, but the length of time on where we don't see him?
Whoever wants to go ahead.
I don't think we see Cena for a while. I mean, personally, granted, I don't think it is, but if this was how they went out with Cena, I'd have been okay with it, because he put Bray over, right? And there's no reason for him to come back. We always talk about the 17, getting number 17, beating Ric Flair, being that new standard bearer. I personally don't want that. I think some records shouldn't be broken, in my opinion. Shut up, Chrome. I saw that. But I don't think you see him for a while, until the time is right, and he almost takes like a Rock role. He never officially retires, but he also, isn't there every year.
True, but even with that Rock role, he still had one more run. I think, to speak off what Bakley was saying and what Ryan was saying, if we see him come back, he can't come back with the same hustle, loyalty, respect. You can't see me.
Oh, absolutely not.
He comes back. He would benefit now, I would think, to be the cheesiest heel to get number 17 and to put somebody over. It could be 2-3 years down the line from now.
And it's not like they have to worry about the merch stuff anymore, because he's not the main merch guy. You know what I'm saying? Right.
He goes away for so long, and then he finally decides to come back. I'll tell you one thing: he's not going to come back like The Rock and be bigger, buffer. No, that's not going to happen. You see how frail he looked on Sunday?
Oh, stop! He don't look frail. He's smaller.
Not frail, but he looked like he's old. Like The Rock.
You can really tell in his face, though. Look at the face.
Right. But it's because he's more lean now. He's not powerlifting anymore. He's doing more of like lean type of dieting and working out.
What is Dwayne doing?
Right, because he's fucking Dwayne. He's got titty implants. Come on, man.
Wait, did he say what I just thought he said? Wait a second.
Yeah, no, he said exactly what you thought he just said.
Got implants. He got boob implants. You didn't know that, right?
Boob implants.
I know it now.
The surgery to cut him so they don't droop.
He got implants. He worked muscle over those implants, but he got implants.
Listen, I've gone down some rabbit holes, but not rabbit holes like that. I haven't gone into research like
you will
that.
tonight, though.
Now we're Google searching, did The Rock get breast implants?
Hold on, let me see. Hold on.
But I will say this about Cena. In my opinion, the best way to bring him back would be to break Flair's record, but here's the reason why you do it. 2 reasons. But one, you can book him as a heel, but I think you could also book him as a babyface, but he's not sure of himself. It's like the first time you've ever seen John Cena where it's like, oh shit, Cena really has no confidence that he's going to win this match. He's been that rattled by the Fiend. But he can get his confidence and his mojo back by winning that title, shocking the world, breaking Flair's record, maybe not shocking the world by breaking it. Then he puts over the guy that, needs to get the big rub when he loses the title to that guy. You could do it at Mania. You could do it any time. But have him break the record, get his confidence back, and have him lose, go out on his back. That's how you can retire perfectly. He broke the record, and he put over the next guy. And that's the perfect way to close it all out right there.
Oh, my God, he was right. Oh my God!
You're welcome.
Wait, no, it was a reduction. It was a reduction.
Thrust reduction. Oh, okay.
He didn't grow
Thank
them.
you.
They were
Dude.
reduced.
He had flabby boobies.
So
Yeah, he
so
had
went
them
from
cut.
a C cup to what? To a C cup or
What
something?
happened?
He says that he's not ashamed and it makes him feel very good inside. That's what it says in the
Chrome,
article.
I want to see you tell him to his face he has implants. If you ever meet him, you have to say that.
I'll
Oh,
tell
Because
him. I'll grab them and I'll be like, "Ooh, they feel real."
Oh, he's also had liposuction.
Oh. Well, I think it's
Wow.
time for the graphic again after hearing all that shit now. Chrome grabbing boobs and shit like
let's
that.
see Chrome's new body.
There we go. Are those real Chrome?
There's no fake boobies there.
All right, all natural. Okay.
Listen.
What about this? What is this real?
Oh, good lord.
I don't
It's
even know.
too
Get
real.
it off the screen. I don't even want to know where they go with this.
Could I now address Andy and his stupid comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
It is your show.
Did you really say some records shouldn't be broken in a
he
scripted
did.
sport?
Oh boy.
Maybe.
In a scripted sport? Do you remember when?
It's like I'm out.
Do you remember when people? First of all, wins, losses, and titles don't make people anymore. This isn't 1980s or early 90s. It's a different world now. Okay. Secondly, there's a lot of people who said, "I don't even know what's in the background there."
I
Oh,
know
it's
exactly
Andy.
what's in the background.
Oh, I can't tell.
It's this.
Anyway.
I
It's
can
this.
see my
Oh,
fireplace
nice.
in the background.
Yes, please leave that there. Secondly, remember when people said, "Oh, the streak should never end," and what did we get? One of the
I was one of those
greatest,
people.
if not the most iconic moment ever in professional wrestling. When the
Doesn't
streak
mean I
ended.
like it.
Oh, by the way, The Undertaker thought the streak should end. Oh, by the way, Ric Flair has said 1,000 times that John Cena should be the one to beat his streak. I'll listen to Ric Flair over worrying about Mark's worrying about a fake record.
All right, well, first of all, calm
It's
down.
not. Hey, it's not fake. It's predetermined.
Second of all, yes. Third of all, my opinion. Fourth of all, bite me.
Put the face back up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just put it over his block, Ryan.
No, don't let him try to figure that out. Don't give him that idea.
I'll be back.
At least take the face down. Come on.
I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
glad that it's not going to be Triple H to break the record. Hopefully.
Like,
Fingers
and
crossed.
listen,
Actually, go ahead,
guys,
Chrome.
Charlotte is going to break the record. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk off or to be phony or be funny. We know that Charlotte is going to break the record. So at some point, the record's getting broken anyway. So
Yes.
if Flair himself says Cena should break it, then in terms of a male record, John Cena should be the one to break it. And I'm sorry, I believe John Cena should be the one to break it. John Cena has done so much for this business. I know Flair has. I don't diminish that. But Flair himself will tell you how much John Cena has done, that nobody works harder. He works harder than Ric Flair ever did. Ever did. Flair could work in the ring, but never put the work in outside of the ring. He was too busy having fun, which is why he's living the life he is now, and John Cena is doing bigger and better things now.
That's fair.
John Cena did everything the right way, and he has earned that respect from the guy who holds the record.
Do you guys have a breaking news sounder?
No.
No. Why? What happened? God.
So just after running promos this weekend, Money in the Bank has been canceled.
It is
Whoa.
officially
Really?
canceled now. There were rumors that it would be canceled or postponed. Is it canceled or postponed for
It
whenever?
is canceled.
Wow.
Ooh.
Interesting. So we might be without WWE for a while.
Damn it,
Where are you
Tom,
seeing
you
that
had
at,
to say
Pete?
something in that chat.
We'll see. I mean, Vince has pretty much said he's going forward. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what do
So
I
we'll
miss?
see. What's that?
So what did I miss?
Money in the Bank is
I'm
canceled.
apparently an idiot.
No.
Oh, right,
I
Andy.
didn't hear that. Yeah, beforehand.
Yeah, Andy's an idiot. There was a lot of there was a whole lot of Andy's an idiot.
Thanks.
There's a whole lot of oh, it's still real to me, bite me.
Did you still?
I wondered when that was coming.
Did you at least cut a Rick Rude style promo on him since you have the Rick Rude look going right now?
Oh, I just yelled at him.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
yeah. There you go. It's canceled. Yep.
That's crazy. I wonder if they'll still hold the matches but not have the pay-per-view. So maybe that's something we could see on Raw.
Yes. Well, here's the thing, too. It wasn't WWE saying it. It was the arena in Baltimore that released it.
Right. Yeah. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
More
so
Performance Center.
I mean, listen. At this point, everything we're going to get is going to be Performance Center or Full Sail. Vince still plans to run out of Full Sail. It's been well documented that he's going to run it until he is absolutely forced to shut it down. And it's Florida, so they ain't shutting nothing down in Florida.
Yeah.
Any other news and notes that we want to bring up from WrestleMania before we move on?
Well, do you want to go over the biggest losers? Of
The losers, yes. Absolutely.
I'll go on this one. I think absolutely it's Shayna Baszler that's number one. It's absolutely Shayna. I mean, we were going into this for months thinking this was going to be the easiest match to predict. We were thinking, okay, well, there's not much thought. It's going to be Shayna. They've been building it up. Becky Lynch is going to go on vacation or to home vacation with Seth, and she looks like the biggest idiot in the world.
Go to quarantine with Seth.
I disagree.
Really?
This is why I disagree. Me and Andy and Pete talked a lot about this. This is the one match I really would have liked to have seen the crowd and heard the crowd reaction. I believe they won a crowd for Shayna. I think that this changed. Personally, I feel like the result of this changed because of the fact that they do not have a crowd. Because I do believe that they believe that Shayna will need that moment in front of everybody. So, I don't look at her as a loser. It's very, very clear to me, and particularly how you saw the way they presented her after the match and before. And the fact that they had the screwy ending doesn't tell me this is the end of the Shayna story. I think they were just looking for a way to continue the program. So yeah, I don't look at her as a loser. It sucks, but I kind of want to see her win in front of a crowd still, be honest with you.
For me,
I got Lacey
I'm gonna
Evans.
say Lacey?
Oh, that's a good one, man.
That's a good one.
Lacey Evans, because here you are. You set her up for a tremendous moment at Royal Rumble in front of her daughter and her husband and everything like that, and she loses. Okay,
Gotcha.
fine. Whatever. Pissed me off, but we move on. Now here you are, WrestleMania. You put her in the final three, which we all knew it was going to come down to those three anyway, right? It was just a nice way to say it without putting in a triple threat match. You have the whole Bayley Sasha thing. The seeds start to be planted there.
Again.
And she's not. Yeah, correct, Maddie. Again, she's not able to capitalize on that and walk out with the title. I didn't like it. I didn't like Sasha helping Bayley win, and it makes sense. I get it, right? But I think Lacey really lost a lot of momentum here.
But did she really have momentum after Rumble? That's the only thing I think about.
She still had momentum with me.
Well, you don't count, sir.
I do count.
You can take that a lot of different ways, by the way. I don't know if anybody else caught that.
That was a weird response.
I went for the weird response, though. Let me be very clear.
Your point was fair, though. I actually I agree with you. But what I would say is, in terms of the momentum, maybe not. But this is like all of our complaints with Bray Wyatt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was the constant failures. What was the problem with Braun? We're going to put him in title match after title match after title match, main event after main event. Even not including the title, with Becky, with Bayley, and all this and that. And then this is what you get out of that. That's terrible. It was awful. It was an injustice to her. So I'm with you, Andy. I think that was a bad one.
For me, it's Rhea. I mean, the push of the century at the end of the year, tail end coming into it. I understand they have Charlotte go over, but then the stories come out of her visa expired. She's still stateside. I'm not sure what's going on. We don't know when she's coming back. You talk about a girl who is 23 years old, young as hell. And now we don't know in this uncertain time if her visa did truly expire, when she'll be able to get back here. And who's to know, who's to say when we go back to having crowds and fans and attendance? Like, when do we go back to that? So that moment, that momentum, someone who had truly momentum there is lost. You know what I mean? So we don't know when we're going to get that back. Even when she does come back eventually, it's still going to be a huge pop. But still, I mean, I get it. It's just chances by it happening that with the visa being expired, dropping the belt, at this thing, she lost so much momentum.
See, I'd agree with you, Pete, if the story of her losing her visa didn't come out. Because initially I didn't like the fact that she dropped to Charlotte. But I accepted a little bit more knowing that, hey, you know what? She's not going to be stateside. Just like they did with, who is it? Jordan Devlin is his name with the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
How they vacated that from him. You don't want the NXT Women's title to go into that same kind of limbo.
We don't, but she's still here. And we forget that they recorded this, 2-3 weeks ago?
Well,
so when does it actually expire?
But here's the problem, right? I agree with Pete in that it doesn't matter if here's the thing. She's not a loser because Charlotte beat her. So all the idiots out there who want to give Charlotte a hard time, get the fuck over it, you mark. It's not real. I'm going to say it again because the most annoying thing I've been seeing since WrestleMania is the crying about Charlotte. That people putting Rhea in the Brock Lesnar conversation of just have her sit home for 6 months with the title. I'm like, what? What?
No.
6 months sitting with us.
Exactly. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Well,
but I agree. I agree with Pete because we have no idea when she's going to be able to get back. Do I think that these things happen because there was negligence? No. I think with the pandemic going on right now, it's very hard for these things to get done in the timely fashion that they do. Unfortunately, in the meantime, because a lot of these things are getting pushed off by the governments, the visa expired in the meantime. It's like you guys said, the same thing happened to Jordan Devlin. And now you don't know when they're going to be able to renew that visa to start work again. So she can't work for WWE. I believe it's already expired right after WrestleMania, or maybe it's coming up. But she literally legally can't work in this country. She's stuck here waiting to get deported. Like, that's basically what's happening right now.
Which might not happen, though.
And it might not happen if they can get it renewed and fixed and everything. But in the meantime, you have to look at the situation of that. So Pete is spot on because she's a loser in the circumstance of the whole pandemic going on, because she had fire going into this program, absolute fire going into this. And this would have been a huge moment for her. And unfortunately, not because of Charlotte, because of what's going on, it took the moment away from Rhea.
But see, I guess the only thing that is working in Rhea's favor here...
I got to pop off and come back on because Miss is going to die. Give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep going.
I think the only thing that's working in Rhea's benefit here, though, is to the fact that she is only 23 years old. She is still very young. You know, and she's not one of those high flyers that her career could end in a few years because of how many risks she takes. She's a brawler. She's a bruiser, right? So whenever she comes back, she's still going to be theoretically in her prime.
Well,
right?
Also, true. And who knows? I mean, they could do a whole angle with it where when she does come back, she beats Charlotte and she gets the belt back, which would be huge if she was able to climb over the mountain that is Charlotte Flair, because beating her is significant in the women's division. So
exactly. And in the technological era that we live in, Rhea can still keep herself relevant through social media, through, hell, make her a more regularly featured person on the bump or WWE backstage, since they're doing that remotely. There's still ways to keep Rhea relevant. So I love you, Pete, but that's why I got to disagree with you a little bit. I don't think she loses a whole lot here but she does lose. She is a loser. I'll give you that, but I don't think she's the top loser of WrestleMania.
So
Maddie, who's your loser?
My biggest loser is someone who's been losing for a while, and that's Bobby Lashley. Because Just everything. Every single thing he has done, unfortunately, because of WWE's booking, has been trash. So it's just like, I'm sorry. I mean, I know Lashley's talented. I know it just like Chrome does. But the problem is that WWE does not know how to book him. They
He's
do
not
not
good.
know how to book him at all. And the sad part is like him losing at Mania doesn't really do anything for him. I mean, he does great wonders for Alistair. He can make a WrestleMania debut and move on and get the hell away from Lashley. Good for him. But, I just feel bad for him. I want him away from Lana. I want him to go back to doing what he was doing in his days in Impact. It's a shame. They just do not know how to book him at all.
Nope. And they don't want to just do Lashley versus Brock, which I mean, in this time, if you can get Brock to come back in from Canada, this is the time to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough. I mean, but if they can make it happen, it'd be interesting. But again, though, it's just like it sucks the way that he's been booked since he came back.
Yeah.
I almost wish he never came back at all. He just stayed at Impact.
Question for you guys. When we talked about Rhea and her visa and dropping the belt, does this fast track a real life scenario for Charlotte to marry Andrade? Because guess what? He's from Mexico. We don't know what his visa is.
Yeah, but does he have a visa or does he have citizenship?
He was born in Mexico.
Right, but you can still apply and get citizenship.
He's been here for how long now? He was in NXT 2016.
Well, getting citizenship does sometimes take a while. But at the same time, too, before he was in NXT, who knows how many times he would hop over the border to work in the United States as an independent wrestling, when he was La Sombra, so I mean, he could have applied back then, so that way he wouldn't have to constantly have to renew a work visa.
My biggest losers of the night, by the way, are Sasha and Bailey because they're losers, and I can't stand them.
You take that comment back, sir.
I knew it was
the way
coming.
they've been booked as losers, not
coming.
them.
I ain't taking shit back.
How come I had a weird feeling that was coming? I think because I kind of saw that Chrome was worried when Rich said Lacey Evans. He's like, "Don't you fucking steal it! Don't you fucking steal it from me!"
I know better than never to mention those two names ever in a positive fashion on the show.
There was an opportunity. They went the wrong route with it. It's a terrible storyline. It's been terrible for 3 years now, and they don't need a title. And Sasha looks like the dumbest fuck alive right now with the way that they're booking this.
If they are so obsessed with putting a title on one of them or either one of them, do this storyline that's been going on for 3-4 years with the tag titles. Do that. You don't need to involve the singles title, one of the main women's titles in this slop.
And what's even worse is that the way they book that ending, they make Sasha come out like a babyface, not a heel. And that's really stupid, too, because it's like, Sasha's a heel. She's not a babyface. So why the fuck are you booking her like a babyface?
Well, I think we're starting to get the seeds have been planted. So we asked the question, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
When this program starts, who's going to work as face and who's going to be heel? Clearly, Sasha's going to be the one to work as face.
And
it's fucking awful.
It's horrible. It'll be the worst thing ever, but they want to do what they did in NXT, just reversed.
Which is dumb.
Kill me now.
The reason why that was so good in NXT was, one, it hadn't been done before. Secondly, on top of it, Sasha was a very good heel down in NXT, and she was a long-reigning champion. Bayley was this up-and-coming babyface that no one believed could beat her.
Incredibly.
That's why it worked.
Daniel agrees, by the way. He thinks Sasha's turning face.
Which is a stupid idea.
I agree.
It didn't work when they originally did it and called her up in Raw. It's not going to work now. And for her to come back that time that she wanted to come back and she didn't like the direction of her character, and they find you right back in the same freaking position.
You know what, Pete, too? And the thing is, when you talk about opportunities to have a different vibe, they've changed Bayley's look.
Yes.
And enough of the attitude that she could have some remorse of how she felt and not want to hug everybody. And like, I'm almost at the point now where like this Bailey heel run has been so bad that they're going to resort to the like, oh, I'm not hugging you guys because of Corona. Like they're going to acknowledge the virus on television as part of a storyline with her with the hug and shit.
What is
Like
that?
I'm waiting for that to happen, which would be a terrible idea.
Is her new gimmick going to be her being a friggin' germaphobe then, or she's walking around with a friggin' face mask then?
Maybe. I mean, they did. Listen, they had Ambrose walk around with one.
That's exactly.
Who would have thought Ambrose was 2 years ahead of all of us, huh? Daniel says, "Go wrestle Sasha. She had to go through Charlotte and Becky first to get to Takeover."
Again, same thing. It was much better in NXT than it was when she came up to the main roster.
Yep.
I don't like it at all.
Nope.
No. I mean, I don't know how they can get Sasha to heel. I mean, it's so easy. It's simple with Bailey. You question her passion. You take everything about this business that she loves away from her. You just have Sasha come out and just cut a dirt promo on her after she even dropped the title to Lacey Evans and say, you don't have the passion that you think you have. You don't love this business the way you do. You're not even that good. The fans don't even like you. And you know,
yeah,
what I mean?
but see now the fear though, as you say that, Pete, that might actually get a cheer if it was in front of people.
Oh, it will. It will. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. That's the point. You berate her to the point where everybody's on. Everybody loves her. Everybody loves her. Everybody loves the fact that she's so bad. You bring that to the light, and then from there, So that's someone who needs a reset. Bailey needs a reset.
But no, I think with that, if Sasha comes out and cuts that promo, that cements her in the eyes of the majority of the WWE universe as a face because people aren't behind the Bailey gimmick.
But don't look at it short term, Rich. Look at it with that program. Yes, she's a face. She does the same to Lacey. She's a heel.
Oh, absolutely. But we're focusing on the program.
I'm thinking long.
Like, well, no, we're talking longevity though too for the character.
Yeah.
For Sasha's character.
For both characters.
Both.
I think characters now are so fluid that they kind of switch on the fly when you have situations like this.
We know where Big Show and Elias.
Exactly, right? The heel face has become so fluid where it's almost based upon program, especially when they're in a situation like this where you don't really have a lot to work with.
I can't agree with you on that. I don't think it's by program. I mean,
no, I don't think it should be. Hold on, I don't think it should be. Right. But that's what you see.
But I only see that with two guys, Big Show and Elias.
Yeah,
I don't see that with other people. I disagree on that aspect. They for a second started doing it with Kevin Owens, but thank God they stopped that shit.
There's certain people that's designed to be faces. There's certain people that's designed to be heels. Sasha is a heel. Bailey's a face. The Miz, he's a heel through and through. Every time they try to turn him face, it doesn't work.
You know what? I gotta say though, the start of his face run against Shane last year was absolutely amazing because the character was different. He wasn't totally the goofy Miz. You saw an aggressive side. They dropped the ball on that with this best in the world crap, having Shane go over him over and over. And you thought at some point he was finally going to come out on top and get the win. And he never did. Shane just went over him over and over, and then the program was over. That killed that character.
Did they even have a finishing match? I think they just dropped the program just randomly.
No, they did. They had the last match, and after that, it was done. It was Mrs. Last Chance.
Okay, because it was just so random how that program went. You know, it's just like Shane wins twice, and then you go on. It's like, why the fuck would you run a program like that?
I think he won three times.
Still, point is, it's like it doesn't matter. At some point,
it makes it worse.
Yeah, you can't have Shane go over him 3 times and expect people to be invested. You know, it's like no one can be invested after that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Daniel Bakley has a comment I know you'll enjoy, Chrome. SmackDown is also light in women's division, so they need to send Nia Jax to SmackDown, maybe in the shakeup. I know you're a big fan of Nia Jax.
They need to send Nia Jax the fuck home. She sucks. She's an asshole. Like, is an actual asshole of a person. She can kiss my ass and go home. And I used to be a big Nia fan, but she's a piece of trash.
Well played.
Oh God! Oh, and he's doing it too.
Oh no! Let's block this
About to throw
somehow.
a hit
Let's
back.
block it somehow.
There you
Oh,
go.
God.
There you go.
Let's shield the audience with this.
Shield the
I don't know if
audience.
that's shielding or driving people away.
Both.
Daniel, like that one.
She's pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie. And she sucks. She's green. She hurts people all the time. I honestly, I'm at the point. There's no humbleness in that woman whatsoever, and she's one who got fast tracked for being Dwayne's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the balls to sit there and talk shit on people like Carmella, go out and make ridiculously asshole comments to Killer Cross, who has paid his dues, who has worked hard in this business. Shut your fucking mouth.
Did you see the Killer Cross sighting yesterday?
No.
And next,
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Did anybody think that was killer? Because I was watching AM to PM when it came on.
Oh, so wait. First of all, boys, I didn't finish NXT yet. I went right to the Gargano Ciampa match to talk about.
Oh,
that's where it was at.
But it's got to be Killer Cross because the week before they ran a Killer Cross like Titantron thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is.
Oh, did they? I didn't watch
it's
last
so
week's
cool.
NXT.
you didn't watch it?
No, last week's I didn't watch.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
missed
why.
this.
So they basically let you know he was coming last week.
Okay.
This though,
Chris
what
Cross
we're
is fine,
referring
yep.
to, I think me and Rich are on the same page. Is when Candice and Gargano are leaving, you see as they go this way, there's a car, and it's Cross and
gotcha.
Scarlett in the
Yeah.
car.
See, I caught that. I caught the blonde, obviously, and I went to go back and pause it and see if it was them because I thought they were going to cut to them. Right, car drives away. There's that car sitting there. It would have been perfect.
So ironically enough, okay, so that clears a little bit up for me because I was watching it while we were getting ready for the show real quick. I actually thought in a quick view that it was Hunter sitting in the car, but I was wondering who the fucking blonde was in the car. So that makes a lot more sense to me now.
Oh yeah, that's them. I have
can
them
I-
here.
Can I say real quick though that it's interesting. So I and it's why I said I thought it was maybe Hunter. Man, for a second, first of all, this match was fantastic, and we could kind of transition us right over to it. At the end there, when he hooked the arms, for a second, man, I thought he was going to pedigree his ass.
Yeah.
And I thought Hunter was going to be like come out of the car and walk back into the doors after like Gargano and Candice go away and like do something like hit Ciampa or something with a pedigree himself or just something at the end of that. I was so convinced that was going to happen.
I loved Triple H in the beginning of that.
Oh, it was amazing.
Just sitting in the ring and very like just you could tell like he's portraying that he's over this whole feud. He wants it over, done with. Don't care what you do. You know, as soon as I close that door, y'all have at it.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Can we say that this is the best NXT rivalry ever?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Hands down.
absolutely.
Not even a question.
And maybe the best rivalry out of all WWE programming for the last 3 or 4 years.
It's a good, yeah. I could say that's arguably true.
We're talking last 3 or 4 years, probably.
Yep.
Would you guys say you were surprised at Candice coming back to kick Ciampa in the balls, or did you know like after she kicked Johnny and she walked away, you're like, oh, she's gonna come back and end up doing something?
So
go ahead.
When I messaged in the group chat last night and said, "Oh my God, who's watching NXT?" That was when she kicked Johnny, and
Okay.
I was like, I stopped whatever I was doing and put full focus on that match at that point. And I was like, all right, she's wearing the HBK stuff. Maybe it's a play on the fact that she's got all that HBK gear on, everything like that. And then, I kind of expected her to side with Ciampa, and even though Triple H said it would be done, kind of play that route. But then when she came back, I was like, oh, okay, everything's right in the world, but this is perfect. This is a Candace heel turn at the same time.
Yeah. I thought once she got out of the car and she handed him the bag, I was like, oh, she's like, whatever she just did at that point is coming back to benefit Johnny. It did. They got me for a second once she went low on him first, and she said, "I don't even like him. I can't stand my husband right now. I don't even know who he is." Kick scene, and then you don't see her for like what was like it had to be 45 seconds in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe a minute,
which felt
maybe
like
a
forever
minute or
though.
longer. So they definitely planted the seed there, but then it made sense once she came back.
Yeah, see, I actually forgot about the piece she hands.
Yeah.
I forgot about it completely.
Yeah. I love the presentation of this match, guys. And again, it kind of shows, between what we saw at WrestleMania and now this, they're taking some new creative liberties with the programming. And does that excite you? Or do you think it's going to take away from the regular programming?
I don't think it'll take away from it completely. I mean, I honestly think WWE has its moments where it experiments and it goes bad. Like it's awful. Like kill it with fire immediately. But there are other times where you see them take a gamble and it pays right off. And when they hit, they hit. And it's really not in between. There's no gray area. Either it's going to be a disaster or it's going to be one of the best things we've ever seen. So I don't really think it takes anything away.
And they hit 3 times. They stepped up and went 3 for 3 in terms of taking some big shots this week.
Well, and I think this plays in with the fact that they have time to. It goes back to the glory days of SmackDown, right? You were able to watch that and go, "Wow, that was really good," or "Oh my God, that was really bad. We need to go back and redo this." And rather than having just a couple hours while the crowd's actually still there to go back and reshoot some in-ring stuff because it didn't work, you have so much time. No one's doing anything else. We're not traveling. We're doing it all out of the same set. So you have the ability to figure out what works.
Roscoe, what the fuck does that even mean, man? He's gonna slide into my DMs later and apologize for making a comment that he knows that I hate when he makes those comments like that. Good.
But I think this gives them the opportunity to really sit down and go, okay, let's watch this back. You're at the Performance Center with a lot of, true wrestling fans because NXT is kind of that you're still getting into the business, but you're still a fan. So let people watch it. You have a lot of people around. And are we really going to say something, was bad, even though we still got our product? If they're experimenting right now, I don't think so. I think during this time, because there's nothing else on, there's no other sports on, WWE is going to get away with a lot while they try to figure out what works.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, do you mean John Morrison and Roman Reigns, or Johnny Gargano and Roman?
Gargano, I think he's
Gargano. Okay. So that actually would be kind of cool. I mean, just have Johnny kind of come into that match where everybody just thinks Roman wins and he beats Roman. That would be kind of cool if they did that.
I'd be in. I mean, didn't they do that with Finn Balor when Finn Balor came up?
I think they did.
Yeah.
I think they did.
Yep.
And book Johnny as like just the biggest heel ever in every corner. Needs the biggest bodyguard. This real dude.
Johnny's a guy who for real. Johnny is one of those few guys that can work as a heel or a face and be very effective. He has so much more personality than people even realize that he has. Speaking of personality, and this is totally unrelated, but I have to say it, man. Fucking makes me so mad when they put Apollo Crews on TV because he is such a wasted talent.
Apollo, that was my favorite match.
That match was unbelievable on Raw. And we have talked about it on this program 100 times. Man, he proved last year when you give him a chance to talk, that dude could talk. And look at the match he had with Alistair. Jesus, it pisses me off.
They went forever.
Hey, at least we got a Cedric Alexander sighting.
Oh yeah! Wow. They really give Ricochet the kiss of death now that he's with Cedric.
I know. Yep. What are they going to call that tag team? The underutilized talent?
Yes.
The B-sides.
I
No
want
one
to segue. I want to segue back to Ciampa for a minute. The tweet was made just a little bit ago. He goes, "I'm not Goldie's daddy. I'm not the face of NXT. I don't know what I am. More questions than answers."
Oh, he's getting called up. He's going somewhere.
I think he's getting called up. I think they're going to play this whole like. I think they're probably going to give him a little bit of time off. First of all,
Yeah, I mean, he's not in the title picture because they're going with Dream versus Cole. So what is he going to do now?
And he's in that. I think he's in that position now where because of his neck injuries and stuff, he's going to be a guy who's periodically going to need some time off. I don't think he goes up. I don't think he ever goes up. I think he's going to be an NXT lifer.
Well, because didn't he say if he goes up, he's done?
He said,
"Is that him that said that?"
Well, but is it really up now though? I mean,
Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say,
It's a lateral move.
But that's all the more reason to stay on NXT if you're happy there, though.
yeah.
He's basically saying, correct me if I'm wrong, he's basically saying that he fully trusts Triple H. He's not really trusting Vince. That's basically what he said.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yes.
Well,
He said if they go up, then he will retire from in ring and he will learn to be an agent.
Because he knows exactly how guys like Johnny, to where he's not a Braun Strowman like guy. He knows how Vince handles guys that are smaller, aka friggin' Ricochet.
Yeah.
And Finn,
who's right back where he should be in an NXT.
So that gives me a great point. Look at the one guy from NXT that held the NXT title that's now getting a legit run with the WWE Universal title. It's Drew. But look at him. Look at his body. Look at his size.
Yep.
Didn't do it with KO.
Didn't do it with Sami Zayn.
In fairness,
Nakamura.
We don't know what the original plans were with Finn because he got hurt the day after.
I still think Finn was going to win that night.
Well, he did win.
You mean after?
I mean,
what kind of run he would have had?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I totally forgot that he won. I had a moment. Sorry.
Yeah,
I totally had a moment.
He's literally the first Universal Champion of all time.
I thought he was going to go for a while.
Yeah, no, and that's, to me, that's a big deal, right? So we don't know what that run would have been like, but to me, I have to believe. I know what came after the fact, but I have to believe it at that time in their eyes to entrust him to be the first champion ever. There was a vision for this guy to carry that title and establish it off the bat.
And also too, I think maybe Vince maybe a little sour on smaller wrestlers because when you think about it, not just because of how naturally he was always going for big guys. Think about it. He trusted that he wanted to put the belt on Finn. Finn got hurt. Gave Daniel Bryan that great run due to Triple H's, convincing him. But does it? Daniel Bryan got hurt just like that as soon as he won the WWE. Now, does that mean anything about smaller wrestlers? No, that doesn't mean anything about durability or what have you. It just maybe Vince looks at it. It's like the smaller guys keep getting hurt. I can't trust them to be here for a long time. So maybe he might be sour on them just simply because of that reason.
They're not durable. I get your point. But what does that mean for guys like Cole? Does Cole ever get a run? Probably not.
I hope so, but I don't know. I could see Cole. I could see Cole because I could see Vince looking at him like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And I think he's Shawn's boy. I think Cole is Shawn's boy. Cole is Shawn's boy. He's gonna. I could see him being Shawn Michaels 2.0 in Vince's eyes.
Yeah.
So,
You think Cole over somebody like Gargano?
Yes.
100%.
Listen, I mean, I love Gargano. I love Cole. I love Ciampa. The charisma, the magnetism that Adam Cole has about himself.
That's fair.
Is light years above almost anybody in the business. Right now, I mean, Jericho's the only personality-wise, but when you look at age, the package, the in-ring package, the character and the personality and the like I said, like that thing that draws you in, Adam Cole is the number one guy in my eyes in professional wrestling, AEW, and New Japan, everywhere.
And there's the three qualities: the brains, the body, and the look. He has all three. So, it's just all you gotta do is now just let him go.
And he has the best man in the business right now as his mentor in Shawn Michaels to get him to that next level.
Definitely.
and for WWE, Dream is a very close second. But he has the kind of size. But he's still, even for being his character, his in-ring work, his work rate is great. He still sometimes can miss spots and be off on timing, but that's just because he's still so young. I think he's only like 24, 25.
He's in his mid-20s. You know what, Dream, though? I worry about that character on the main roster.
I've been worried about that for
problem.
years.
He's a guy if he's going to stay in that character, I don't ever want to see him go unless Vince is aside.
And I don't know what else he would do. Like it's kind of, is it fair to compare him to the Bailey? It's completely two different characters, but the same situation with the Bailey character, to where it's so different. I don't know if it wasn't the Velveteen Dream character. I don't know what he would do.
Go ahead, Maddie, and then I'm going to get my comparison.
Gotcha. I would compare him more to Goldust.
Yes, that was the one. Yep.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, because he pushes the homophobic button. That's what he does.
Oh yeah,
it's exactly what Goldust did. Now, if Vince took him and decided to say, you know what, we're going to do that. We're not going to go too far with it. We can't go as far as we used to go with Goldust before they had to rein him in. But you go far enough to where people go, is he, or is he not?
Question it.
Yeah, like they can do that and get away with it on a PG program. You can't go as far as you did with Goldust. Goldust went a little far with the stuff they did in the 90s with him, but they did rein him in eventually.
Yeah, see, I don't even know if I would even get stuck on the homophobic part of it. I would look at more, though, that he is a much more flamboyant character. And we've seen, aside from Shawn Michaels, how Vince treats flamboyant characters. The Goldust character was very serious. There was a lot that was put behind him to promote that and push that character early. But it becomes very gimmicky and hokey after a while in Vince's eyes. It has a shelf life. And that's what I would worry about with him. Because he's better than
Dream. He's very subtle. Remember, what was it, 2 years ago in NXT? His tight said, "Call me up, Vince."
Yep.
He's thinking that long term. He puts a lot of thought into his character itself. So we'll see. But then when you said about when they like Sasha and Bailey, it's not they, it's Vince. That's the only opinion that matters when you get to that point where you're on SmackDown and Raw. So,
oh yeah, pal, that's good shit.
Yeah, he probably really said that.
Yes. By the way, that part made me cry laughing in the Firefly Fun House. Good shit. Oh my God, I lost it.
One of the best things ever.
Yes.
I may or may not have a new shirt coming.
With a possible similar phrase.
No, you're right, Pete. And it's so weird too, because like it's like, how does Vince see NXT? Like, I don't know how he processes it. Like, he's so hooked on these like 4 horsewomen thing, right? I guess he sees the marketing and money instead of saying, "Hey, I got 2 out of 4 that are absolute fire. That's hitting 500. That's a fucking Hall of Fame average." You know what I mean? You can still figure something out with the others, but to totally just put this entire machine behind them shows his inexperience and lack of understanding for those characters. They force that hugging gimmick down our fucking throats.
It's Ryan's
way
favorite
after
gimmick.
It should have been there. Oh.
I think Vince looks at it as like, oh, that's Hunter's project. That's Hunter's thing. When they get here, it's my thing. So we gotta make them fit into what I want on my television. That's what Hunter wants on his. This is what I want on mine. I think that's honestly how Vince looks at it. He looks at it as so separate from Raw and SmackDown. I don't think he compares the two at all. I don't even think he looks at NXT half the time.
Daniel Bakley said Vince didn't start watching NXT until it was on the USA Network.
Vince doesn't have a network account.
That's funny.
He didn't feel like.
See, now, Chrome, I know you were still going to make a Velveteen Dream comparison, but one name I haven't heard thrown around that I think of when I think of Velveteen Dream is Macho Man. I don't think Goldust. I think more Macho Man, if anything.
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, he could be a hybrid. See, to me, his in-ring work is a lot like that, and I think because he puts Macho Man and he puts Hollywood Hogan on his tights and stuff, that's the vibe that you get. He does the spin in the ring. I mean, you could say he's like Jay Lethal if you want to start throwing that stuff around too.
He's the
But-
Black Machismo.
That was
mean-
that was actually a name I had in my head too.
Yeah, I mean, but if I'm looking at just the character, like Maddie was, in my eyes, was spot on the character.
Oh, I agree. I hadn't thought it like that.
And how I think Vince would look at that on the main roster. We got about 5 minutes left, boys. I want to talk. Gaming is a big thing. I want to know what your favorite pro wrestling video game of all time is.
That's a nasty question to ask.
WCW versus NWO Revenge on the N64. It's
Yeah.
easy for me.
That's a good one.
See, it's a great game. But you have to go to the WWE WrestleMania 2000 game when they got
It's pretty much the same game.
but some of the handling was a little bit better. They slightly tweaked the graphics a little bit. You could create your own character at that point. I mean, for me, that was my game. I could play that to this day.
I had
Mine-
both.
I
Mine
have
was
them at my parents somewhere. I got to find it.
mine is SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Okay.
That
So
one.
I don't know that I ever played that one.
I played
That's
that
a good one. The season mode.
That's a very good one.
Yeah, the season
Yeah.
mode in there is kick ass. Like it really, really is.
See, that's what I miss about these games, man. Like, I don't know if anybody's played any of the recent ones. One of the best parts was the storyline aspect. When they had the storyline modes, they took that shit out.
See, what I liked was I think it was done in the very first Raw versus SmackDown.
Okay.
I think is when it was done. It was the GM mode.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually, because don't get me wrong, the gameplay is great, but that was so different to actually go in and be in charge of, either Raw or SmackDown and put the shows together and all those little nuances. That was when everyone had the first GM mode, which I think was the first Raw and SmackDown. That was my favorite. But I did like Raw versus SmackDown 09 because that was the last one I touched and it had ECW. So it's nice to see ECW get its due on a video game.
I have that game at my parents' house. I don't know if the system works anymore, but I still have some of those games. I have like 5 or 6 Raw versus SmackDown. Oh, I was wondering what all that tussling around was. That's right.
He's probably looking for it.
That's right there. That's a great game.
For the Wii?
Absolutely. I had the Wii before I had anything else.
I
Which one's that?
think that's 2010.
That's 10.
Yeah.
And then this is my first wrestling game ever.
Oh,
Yes.
let's
Oh,
wrestling. Yes. Okay.
I had that game. That game was amazing.
Cheesy crap.
Did
Dude,
your
I love the second one. Second one was kick ass.
did yours like mine freeze up every 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like when you're in the middle of a created character and it freezes up, so you have to start it all over again.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that the finishing moves that were available, they literally had like 900 of them, and it took you like 2 hours just to go through all of the options.
See what was awesome about that game though was that was a time where Hogan wasn't being featured in games.
Exactly.
So you had that classic aspect of all of those classic guys that was so awesome back then. It was very unique to it. I think I still have 2, Maddie. I don't think I have the original anymore. I still have 2.
Two's the best one because it has the best season mode. Because you go to the different territories.
Yeah.
And you have different storylines, whoever you pick. That's the cool part about it.
And this is very like I'll always have this. I don't even have like the game. I don't even know where the hell the game is. Like the game's somewhere.
Oh, you have the box.
So I have the box. So I just realized that. So I'm like, oh, this is really light. I don't hear it. Like, oh wait.
You don't hear the disc.
So it's- by the way, I'm notorious for combining. Like I have like 3 discs in like one of the boxes. I'm notorious for that. So it's probably in a football disc or case somewhere.
Anybody play? Oh, sorry, Brodo.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Did anybody play Crush Hour?
I did.
Crush Hour.
That was a weird game.
Crush Hour was like WWE's answer to Twisted Metal.
Yeah. It was a weird game.
So good though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the CAW formulas. Oh my god, I remember having to look those up and print those off. having to create whoever I wanted to. I put Sting in like Here Comes the Pain. That took me like an hour to put him together. It was unbelievable.
Remember a couple weeks ago when I said the thing that introduced me to YouTube was the old Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan clips?
Yeah.
Remember I said that? Well, the other thing that introduced me to YouTube, I used to search the CAW models and I would copy them. This is important to me, this game, because this game came out and I started playing this game right when I started watching wrestling in 06.
Yeah.
So this was the game for me.
That's great. Yeah, and honestly, like 2 games I'm gonna reference for sure. Pete, WrestleFest, bro. Well, go to the
arcade game.
Go to the arcade and play WrestleFest.
Best wrestling game ever made. I still never beat Legion of Doom at the end. I don't know how you do it.
I was always Mr. Perfect and the Big Boss Man. I don't know why. Or Hogan, or I would be like Hogan and Mr. Perfect. I was always Mr. Perfect in the game. I don't know why.
I was Mr. Perfect and Hogan, Mr. Perfect and Warrior,
See?
Hogan.
You were Mr. Perfect too. He was badass in that game.
You remember the game that Midway made? That was that arcade one where you had Undertaker throwing tombstones and freaking Shawn Michaels throwing out hearts.
I forgot.
What was the name of the game?
I think it was. I forget the name of it, but it was an arcade game, just like WrestleFest.
The best WWE 2K game that they ever came out with was 30 Years of WrestleMania.
Who was on the cover?
I think it was CM Punk with or maybe it was Daniel Bryan with the reversible Rock. Yeah.
Rock is the featured cover guy on that.
Right. And I think there was a reversible cover that had Daniel Bryan on the inside. But I will tell you that game, man, that to me, in terms of the storyline modes that they've had in all these games, was awesome. And it was such a great, like, I regret trading in my Xbox 360 simply because I wish I had just that game to play on it. Mm-hmm. I would have I've actually started looking to see if I could find the system again to rebuy that game.
Hold on. I think I'm looking at 1 second.
I did the same thing with the PlayStation 2, and I've been in the process of getting the original SmackDown trilogy on it. So, because those were great games. Just Bring It. It was weak, but it was still fun. And then Shut Your Mouth had the best season mode ever because it had such a branching off season mode. And Here Comes the Pain is a classic. So, Chrome, if I would suggest any game that you play that's retro, that you've never played before, Here Comes the Pain. You will love the story mode.
I've never played that before.
Maddie, that game is WWE WrestleMania. That's what it's called.
That's what it was. WrestleMania. That's what it was. Yeah, they made it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, dude, do you remember on NES, Pete, the original WrestleMania game with Hogan tearing the shirt off on the front? How terrible that game was? I know. I had it too. I would play it to this day if I still had it. But it's not a good game.
What was it? It was the first NWA game. You could throw wrenches with Lex Luger.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Jackpot.
I have the TNA game. I
played the TNA game. I remember that.
I own that game. I have it.
Oh, you still have it? Oh,
Kurt
wow.
Angle, TNA Impact game. I have that. I used to have the ECW game as well.
Oh, what was it? Anarchy Rules? I think it was.
Yeah, I had that on PlayStation 1.
Yeah, and that was like Attitude, but it was just ECW instead.
Yeah. Attitude was not a very good game. It was bad. The handling was terrible in that game.
It's a bitch to play. It really is a bitch to play.
Yeah, but going back to Super NES, they had it was WrestleMania, the arcade game, I think, and then they had Raw. And I remember just Raw. It was like the first. I had Diesel, Razor Ramon, had the 1, 2, 3 kid, had all these awesome characters, and that was like one of my favorite games ever. I would play that. I want to play all these games. I gotta start playing this shit.
Was that which one was your first one, Chrome?
My first wrestling video game?
Yeah.
Was the original WrestleMania game on NES with Hogan tearing.
Gotcha.
It was terrible. I had like Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk Man.
Who was that? Honky Tonk. Who was in it, Pete? It was Honky Tonk Man, Andre, Ted DiBiase.
Andre
It was only like 6 characters you could play.
Yeah.
Well, So my first was actually the first SmackDown game.
Okay.
Yeah, and God, the ranking system was such an asshole in that freaking thing. Because I wanted to make title matches and I couldn't. Because I'm like, oh, well, D'Lo Brown is like ranked number 18, so he can't go for the Intercontinental title. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Why can't I get a random ass title match? Like, seriously.
Chrome, in WrestleMania, the 1989 video game, you had Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Macho Man, Ted DiBiase, Bam Bam, and the Honky Tonk Man.
Says 8, right?
Yeah.
I've officially hit the jackpot, by the way.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What'd you find?
So I not only found 2011,
Okay.
Nice.
Oh God.
I not only found the WWE 12
Yeah.
Wii version, but
Yeah.
the Xbox 360 version.
Nice.
I found the greatest wrestling game of all time. And when I say greatest, I mean definitely not the greatest, one of the worst.
Oh, God.
WWE
Horrible. Oh,
That's like that's like Legends of Wrestling, but without any of the fun.
That's
Yes.
that was the game you were talking about, right, Andy? No.
No.
That was pretty tough. Wasn't that supposed to be like WWE's version of Blitz?
I think so.
I think
NFL
so.
Blitz.
It's like every finisher they're doing like 3 backflips in it.
Yeah, it was like
Everybody was so huge.
it was
Yes.
the NBA Jam version of a wrestling game.
That's what it was.
Terrible.
You know what was the shittiest one that I think I've ever played? That was Legends of WrestleMania. I did not like that game at all. That was a bad one.
Yeah, I didn't purchase that. I figured that was going to be bad.
Ralph says Undertaker, great guy to use. Guys, this was a good conversation. This was fun. And now you have given me the urge to now possibly purchase this 360 so I can play this freaking game.
This room is an absolute war zone, by the way.
I'm sure.
I mean, you should see that
Imagine.
stuff is thrown all over the room. I've got more hats in here than I thought I even owned. They're just out.
I officially need a picture of this now when this is all over.
Yeah.
Oh, I would never put that on the internet. Are you kidding me?
What did you do?
Send it to us in the chat.
Brother, what did you do? Raid lids before you went into quarantine?
Listen, Maddie, I didn't know when we'd be coming out. I got everything.
Prepared for every occasion.
You bought hats and flavored water.
For those keeping track at home, I went with the watermelon passion tonight.
Nice. Well done.
Oh.
Andy, thank you for joining us.
Always. Thank you for having me.
Mr. ATG, appreciate you as well. Maddie and Mr. Brodo. As always, guys, next week, like I said, I'm giving everybody homework. I'm giving you homework at home. I'm giving my guys here homework, whoever's going to join. We are doing a recap of Dark Side of the Ring. We can even talk about some from last season, too, if we want to. We can make it a whole episode. Let's see if WWE gives us any fucking thing we care about to talk about this week. If they don't, we'll go all Dark Side of the Ring. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, to make sure that you guys actually... Ryan, when is the draft? Is that next week?
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. Okay. So it won't be till then that we swap. Okay.
Yep.
Well, just a heads up for fam, too. On the Thursday night, I know, at least for our show, there's going to be a draft special. They're going to be taking our time slot. So we're going to be moving to Tuesday nights on that 1 week only. So make sure you tune in. We'll remind you guys of that next week.
We won't be on the 18th because of the A2D mock draft. We'll be going on the 19th.
Right. So you could definitely make sure you guys check out Velocity at 3 a.m. on Channel 48 in the Philadelphia area.
On UPN.
I like that. That was the best one yet. That was smooth. I like that. I can't get mad at that one.
No, but yeah. So next week, homework. Check out Dark Side of the Ring. It's a great show. It's free. It's on YouTube. So, thank you to our sponsors. Our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal at Gibson. I must have said the wrong one. At Specialized Physical Therapy. Check them out. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. No appointment necessary. Ambuck Services, gutter guards, all that stuff. Check them out. AmbuckServices.com. Let them know that A2D sent you. Get 20% off. And then QB54 at Play. Or check them out. PlayQB54.com. Let them know that we're there. Use the promo code No Notes. Get you 10% off. It's a great time to get that. For us, stay tuned. Hockey Happy Hour coming at you. Top of the hour. Who won the Mania Challenge, by the way?
I'm handling that.
It's so random. It's Thursday and he's still figuring it out, guys. So we apologize.
No,
for
it's not. I'm just gonna make the announcement on my show.
Oh,
Ooh.
you're gonna make people wait a week? Nobody gives a shit after a
Absolutely.
week.
Absolutely.
Nobody gives a shit
It
after
gives people a
week.
reason to tune in.
Well, we need those. You're right.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just kidding, buddy.
Because I'm like the black sheep of A2D, the forgotten
I
stepchild.
didn't know where,
I
he
didn't know
was
where we were
with
going
that.
with
I meant to say the redheaded stepchild, and I'm looking at the table that's black. It was I tried to save it pretty quickly.
I thought you were gonna say like the Black Plague of A2D
Oh.
because
Sometimes I
don't help
feel like
him, Maddie.
that too.
Maddie, don't help him. Don't help him.
For Mr. Brodo, Stack Guy Ritz, Mr. Andy Ritz, for Maddie, for Mr. ATG, and for the ravishing one yourself. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Be safe. Take care of your families. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later.